My dear friends, welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 SDK tutorial, and in today's video I want to show you how to create the visual effects like this fire that is firing here in front of us. Let's get started. Okay, so for this tutorial I'm gonna start a new project with the wizard included in the SDK. So I'm gonna go to the new project, and let's go to my test, and this is the FX tutorial, and create a new project. It's gonna be a package. Next, you can go with the visual effects, of course, or with custom, because we need something else. We need something to place the object. We're gonna need maybe a sim object. We're gonna need a scenery file. I'm gonna create a normal project with a PGL. So this is effects tutorial, package name effects tutorial, scenery. Gonna be next, and effects tutorial placement, BGL as an asset group. It's okay. This is our standard scenery where you can go to the inspector, load in the editor, and use the scenery editor to place stuff, you know. We need, of course, the asset group to host our effects. So I'm gonna click on the package, go to the inspector, scroll down, add an asset group, and it's gonna be a visual effects. I'm gonna click next, and the name of the visual effects is gonna be fireplace tutorial, and create the visual effects. So creating a visual effects will open, let's close this one. Okay, this is the visual effects library that is being created, and we'll open the Visual Effects Editor window. This is the main Visual Effects Editor window with tutorial. Come on. With your basic effect, with the name of your basic effect. So we're gonna need something else. We're gonna need the node graph window, and this is the basic effect that the wizard create for us. You can scroll the mouse to zoom in and out. You can right click to pan the view, and now we need a way to spawn this effect. So we can use the view template instant debugger window. This is this window here, and usually I dock it in my project window, project editor window. I'm gonna use the spawner tab, and the spawner tab is used to select where you want your effect to spawn. So I want to spawn into the user airplane for this sample, and it is here, our Cessna 152, and I want to spawn it on the propeller, using the propeller as a spawn point. I'm gonna click spawn, and this we spawn this effect here, which is a basic smoke effect. Because I want to see it clearer, I'm gonna destroy this. I'm gonna put it in front of the airplane. So 5 meters maybe in front of the airplane. Let's see if this is the front. Yes, it's okay. And this is our effect that is spawning. So let's see how this effect works. We have nodes here connected from visual effect, which is a starting point. The visual effect is connected to emitter. Emitter is the thing that emits a particle. So this one is a single particle, 0.1 maybe. Let's wait for a particle to show. Okay, here it is. This is a single particle, and this particle is gonna spawn, never stop spawning. It starts to spawn with 0 delay. The emitter can have a maximum capacity of 16 particles. For the sample, you can tweak all this data, and this is the number of particles that stay in memory. So if you want a more thicker smoke, a more lot of particles, you're gonna increase this capacity things. And this is the distance where the effect is shown. And this is the rate in seconds of particle per second. So this is 0.1 particle per second. If I put 20 here, it's gonna spawn 20 particle per second. This is 20 particle per second. Maybe to show you, maybe I'm gonna use 3 particle per second. And there it is, 1, 2, 3 per second. Let's put this to maybe 0.5. So we don't have so many particles. And all those particles are initiated in the init block. We have a lifetime, so each particle has a 5-second lifetime in this example, has a size of 1, and has a velocity. The velocity is a vector that defines the movement of each particle. Then each particle goes to an update block, which we can do things to the particle, and then goes to the out block, where the shape and the color of the particle is defined. To see the properties of each node, we need to open the inspector. In this node, we have the name of the effect. So we're gonna call this fireplace effects. I'm gonna confirm. Now in the emitter, you have all the data you can see here, and in the init we have in yellow the data that is already in the block, and we have so much data we can add to this block. The same things goes for the update. You can say lifetime, scale, position, rotation, velocity, and so on. And the same goes for the output. Now you can see that this type of particle is called the quad. It is a default UV mode and is apply engine smoke material, which seems fine because this is some smoke. Now we want to create a fire for this part of the tutorial, and for the fire I'm gonna select a fire type material. So let's open the material editor. So I have some very interesting flame material like this one. This is splendid and this is very good, but also Azobo has something useful. Maybe it's fire. No. Flare. Flame. Okay, this could be one. NYP flame, NYP material. I don't know where this is coming from, but there's another one. Okay, I'm back again, and the material I'm gonna use for the sample is this one, this smoke atlas, which has all those little bitmaps here. And I'm gonna click here, output, and in the inspector I'm gonna grab this and put it there. So as you can see, it's spawning the texture of we have selected, like the texture that was before. So before there was a single image, now we have multiple images on the same texture. Because this one is an atlas texture, so we're gonna change the UV mode to atlas. And this texture here, let's open it in the material editor. Okay, this one is arranged in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 per 8 pictures. So it's 64 pictures in one image, 64 drawings in one image. So to show it, I'm gonna go for the Atlas mode of 8 by 8. So now is showing a single picture for every frame, and I need to color this like a fire. So I'm gonna use the this window here that is inputting that is giving values to the color in a RGBA format, so red, green, blue, and alpha format. And the value of the red is going to be 1, of course, and maybe this 0.2 or 0.5. This is going to be a 0, of course. Yeah. Okay, this is looking like the color of a fire. But now there's a problem, because our fire, when it's produced, is going up, and it's going up because every particle of the fire is initiated with a velocity connected to a gravity vector of -1. So the gravity, the normal gravity, is scaled in a negative value, and if you scale the gravity in a negative value, you have negative negative gravity, so you float like in space. You go up like a balloon. We're gonna put this to 0. So as you can see, all the particles are initiated all in the same place. Wonderful. So because they are all initiated in the same place, we can remove the swan. So I'm gonna right click and press delete, and now in the init we can remove the velocity, because at the moment we don't need this for the effect. So we're gonna need another thing, because we have input a material with 64 images, but we are using only the first one, only a single one. So in the update, we're gonna use a texture index here, and the texture index wants a parameter, another node, to scroll between each image. And this node is called, let's find it, no, random, the Atlas player. So you're going to connect the Atlas player to the texture index. And now we're going to give a frame rate, maybe like 10. And as you can see, the images is changing. So we want fire. So let's go in the night, so you can see it better. And there's nothing, because we don't have still an emissive parameter in the output. We have only the material. So in the output, I'm going to select material emissive, and I'm going to create some new values for this emissive. I need a window like this, and you can create this or either by duplicating like this, or you can right click and use types. This is a vector 4, and this is a vector 4 format. I'm going to put this into the material emissive, and let's say I want to be red, and maybe like this. So right there, this is a nice fire. Oh, maybe we can bump up the frame rate. Okay, I like this. Okay, 2. Okay, I like this, and during the day it's too visible maybe, so we can drop down the alpha like this, 0.5. And now we have some fire going on. Okay, I want the flame to be more higher than large. So in the init, I'm gonna use the scale option, and here it is. Now the fire is distinguishing because we're gonna initiate each particle at 0, but if we change the values of each particle, and by the way, you can change them. I need. Okay. this will be 1, this is gonna be 1, and this is the height, so want this to be 2. And now we have a nice fire. So this texture has this border here, so it's not perfect. But if you use the puffing one, you're gonna have a very nice texture. Okay, so now as you can see, we are emitting particles with a rate of 0.5 per second, and each particle has a lifetime of 5. Okay, the last particle you have on the system, the better is for performance. And if you click here on Instance and Performance Monitor, you can see how much it takes for the system to show you the effect. You can see the statistics. We have 5 particles on the CPU, which seems fine because we have a lifetime of 5 for each particle. And we can move on, adding some smoke to this effect. Great. Now, to add some smoke, we need another emitter, because this emitter is emitting only this particle. And to add an emitter, we're gonna right-click, click on blocks, and gonna click on emitter. Now let's put it there. And let's connect to the visual effect. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna need an init block. So I'm gonna right click and blocks init. So we are missing this handle to join the emitter block to the init, and to obtain the angle we're gonna click on the emitter and add an init children so we can connect them. Now we're gonna need an update block. And here it is. And to connect the init to the update, we're gonna need an update link here. And again, we're gonna need an output block and output. Here it is. And of course, in the update, I need a particle output handle. Okay, so let's show what we have now. Pretty much nothing. Let's save every now and then, because the effects editor sometimes crash. Not so much like in the past. Okay, VFX engine smoke is gonna be quad in default. That is correct. Is not showing because we are missing the color. So let's add to this property a color, RGBA, and there it is, and add a for value block to the color. And the init, we're gonna need a lifetime of maybe 10. Okay, what is needed? We're gonna need the size in the init. So maybe a size of 2. Okay, the scale is not needed. So let's save. Let's try to respawn the effect. So destroy and spawn again. And there it is. Now it's spawning our smoke. Now the smoke is too it's too white. It's too opaque. Now we're gonna use a more faint color. So I'm gonna use the alpha here, and it should be a little more on the black side. So maybe now it's more gray, and it's staying in the same place because before in the init we have a gravity vector, and now we don't have the gravity vector. So let's add the gravity vector, and in the init I'm gonna add a velocity field, and I'm gonna right click and let's add where it is, the gravity vector. In the effects and environment, let's add a gravity vector. Whoops. Collect in the velocity. And now we want it to fly over our smoke. Okay, now we have a column of smoke over the fire, and the position is starting right at the base of the smoke of the fire. We want it a little bit above, so I'm gonna add a position to init our particle, and I want it to spawn 1 meter above. And let's use the emitter local space, so it's in meters. Yeah, that's correct. Maybe a little bit up, 1.5. Okay, and it's going up. So maybe we need some more particles here. So I'm gonna make 5 per second, and we have the smoke. Okay, maybe with a longer lifetime. Let's start again and spawn. Okay, so because we have increased the lifetime and the rate, we're gonna need to increase the capacity of our emitter. So let's put this like 100. Okay, so and now the fire is continuous. And we can see that we have already a lot of particles on the CPU. So we're gonna fix this. We need to fix this. Maybe the rate is too much. Maybe 3. Let's see if 3 is okay. And maybe 15 here. It goes really high in the sky. So maybe 10 is already okay. Perfect. And now we need to make this act like a real smoke. Okay, so now the color of the smoke is the same for all the particles, and we want it to be to start with the transparency and then going to the gray, to the black, and then be transparent again. Of course, we need to play with the output vector, and we need to change it over time. And to change it over time, we need to add a variable, the getParticle attribute, and we need to add a Bezier curve, which takes the time and drop it to the opacity. So we're gonna design this Bezier curve here. We're gonna add a new point like this, and another one when the effect is half of its life, and a new point again when the effect is at the end of its life. It should start from 0 opacity, go to full opacity, and then back to 0 opacity, which is not what we are seeing here, because we need to change this parameter from age to something else, which is age over lifetime. Age over lifetime is let's clean this spawner, destroy all, and spawn again. Okay, so I've changed the particle attribute to age over lifetime. That is a value that goes from 0 when the particle is born and from to 1 when the particle dies. And I changed the maximum opacity to about halfway, but maybe I can put it a little bit less here. And now we have a lifetime of 10 and a rate of 3, and as you can see, the particles start transparent and finish transparent, and we have opaque in the middle. This is a pretty boring smoke anyway, because it's all going in the same direction, because we are only setting the velocity for the gravity, for the y value. And I wanted to set it for each value, so the x with the y and the z. So I'm gonna need a tree type vector like this to input in the velocity. I'm gonna delete this, and the y is gonna be 1. So the y is gonna be 1 because the gravity vector works in a scale way. It's another type of parameter. And now we need to set some random values for the x and the z position. And to use random, we need to add random and random value. Yep. And we're gonna need so from minus 0.5 to 0.5 maybe. That's correct. And we want this in the x and in the z. And now we're gonna need a random seed for our random value. Yeah, I'm gonna need this anymore. And as a random seed, I'm gonna use a get particle attribute and use the ID of the particle is here, because computer, to make random stuff, they need some random seeds. So it's going up too fast. So maybe 0.8. And in the scale, I want the smoke to be bigger. Okay, but it starts too big because it's starting already on the size of 2, and we want it to increase its size as soon as it's go up in the sky. So we need to update the particle every frame and add that to the size, at a size. Yep. And now every particle is updated with the size value. So because the size is 0, every particle is updated to a 0 size. So it starts with a size of 2 and updated with a 0 size, and the particle it disappears. So we want to update this. We need the age of a lifetime particle attribute. This one. Age of a lifetime. And let's see what happens if we put this directly in the size. So it starts really, really small and then gets bigger. As you can see here, those values are too much. So maybe minus 0.2 to 0.2. Okay, we can start now at 0. I want a little bit bigger. So add some math and then multiply this value. Can delete this link and multiply this value by maybe 3. Or maybe 4 is expanding too much. Okay, let's say I like this. So the effect is done, is ready. In mine, I have added some sparks with another emitter, and if you want, I can share with you my effects so you can see how it was done. But I encourage you to try to find your way to make your effect great. Okay, so now we need to find a way to spawn this effect we have created into the game. And let's try to compile these things. So build all. And now that is built, we can try to place this. So in the scenery editor, you can go to Objects and go to the VFX. So looking in the Visual Effects library, here you should find your effects. And it is not available until you put it into the community. So let's try to do this right now. I'm gonna save the project, copy the packages into community, and reload into the game. So back into the game, let's reload the project. Load the placement in the editor. We don't need the material editor. And into the view objects, we're going to choose VFX. And hopefully, inside the Visual Effect library, we have our fireplace effect that we have created in this tutorial. So we can click on Add, and whoa, it's over there. We can click on Add, and now we should have the fire going on. Correct. And there it is. So you can place any of these visual effects with this method. So maybe you have I don't know, let's say within the FS base, in the base, you want to place some well, smoke lighting effects. You can click add, and you have all those particles going on. There's another method to place visual effects, and that was I call it the legacy method because this the effects method comes only since sim update 8 or well, don't remember, but it's pretty recent, and is by linking your VFX to a sim object. So let's go deep into the code. Let's see how it is done. So back to the project, we need to create a sim object to show our effects. So I have already created one. Inside the package sources, I have my sim object structure, so a folder called sim objects, inside another folder called landmarks. The name of our sim object, Mammoth Design Campfire, in this case, inside the name, I have a model folder and a texture folder. Inside the texture, I have the texture of my object, of my 3D object, and I have a sim.gfg folder. That's where there is the title, the name of my sim object. In this case, is Mammoth Design Campfire. And inside the model folder, I have a model.gfg file where is defined the name of the XML, mammothdesign-campfire.xml, and in the mammothdesign-campfire.xml, I'm referencing the name of my GLTF model, which is mammoth-campfire.gltf. In the behavior section, I need to include the template for the FX, so the generic FX.xml, and I need to have a component section with a random ID and a node where I want my FX to spawn from, a node from the object. The node can exist, or if the node doesn't exist, the FX will spawn at the root, the origin of the object. Now I need to set the parameter to use the template we are including here. And this parameter is basically the FX QID. This number here is your FX QID number, and where to find it? It's inside your package sources, VisualEffect library, the name of your effect, VisualEffect library, the XML defining your effects, and it's this one. This one is the ID you need to put into the sim object XML. Then I need to set up a code, a condition that is always true if I want to spawn the object, the effects always. And this condition is 1 is greater than 0. 1 is always greater than 0. And of course, once I have created the sim object structure, I need to add to my package definition XML the source of my sim object, and it's this one. All the stuff has been discussed in the sim objects tutorial. So let's try to place this sim object in the game. Let's compile, maybe with our trusty FS package tool. Okay, everything compiled. And now let's try it into the game. You need to copy it. Otherwise, it is impossible for the code to reference to the visual effects. And let's start the game. Okay, now we are back into the game. Let's reload our project. As you can see, the sim object as a group is loaded. So open the inspector and load the placement in the editor. Let's go to view objects and load the sim objects and search our file. This one. And that's the fire. Place it. I had a few problems with the smoke, and now I'm gonna show you. Yeah, Spectre. I'm gonna load the effects, and if you click the show particles, you can see the direction of the particles, and to obtain the specific direction connected to this specific sim object, I needed to tweak the XML a bit and add a rotation on the pitch axis. This is the code to rotate by 90 degrees at the pitch axis. This may happen with your specific sim object, with your design. And talking about the design of the sim object, I have made a model here in Blender. Let's see in the night. Is better? I have made this model in Blender with some light and some emissive texture here. And this is the model I have made in Blender. The model, the 3D model is very simple, and it is textured interiorly in Substance Painter, which is a tool that I'm using for a little time right now, and I'm very happy with the result you can get. And maybe I can teach you how to make this object and the texture in Substance Painter. If you like a new tutorial like this, please write it in the comment below. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.